Hey everyone, it's Dominic the Primetime Treasure Hunter. Welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about what to do when you find yourself with an incomplete board game on your hands. And incomplete board games can be really tricky to sell because of the fact that they're incomplete. So if you think about it, someone who's purchasing a game wants to play it, they want to make sure all the pieces are there. Now there are some times where people will purchase an incomplete game on purpose. Sometimes they just figure they could fabricate the missing parts by themselves, or they could go out separately and purchase the missing part and make their game complete. Another time it might be that the missing game part is not really essential, and so the person is willing to deal with it. These things are more likely in terms of a purchase in that way if the game is more difficult to find, more of a rare game, whereas more common games, ones that are more available on the market, it's going to be more challenging to sell them as incomplete because there are plenty of them around that are complete that will sell for around the same money as the incomplete one. So why the heck would someone spend the money on the incomplete version? Nevertheless, you may find yourself with that incomplete board game on your hands. And there's several ways in which that could happen. One of the most common ways is that you go out and you purchase a board game for the specific purpose of reselling it. You check it over at the sale, or maybe you glance it and you just don't have time to look to see if all the parts are there. You hope they do. The person who sold it to you, this story sound familiar, tells you all the pieces are there. Then you go back, you check it out, and you find that there's something missing or several things missing. And you're like, darn it, I just lost my money. Now, a lot of times it's not a huge amount of money you invested in it, maybe a couple bucks, but nevertheless, you don't want to be out any money. So what could you do in that situation? We're going to talk about that in a few moments. Now, another way you may find yourself with an incomplete board game on your hands is if you're doing what a lot of people do to get started on eBay, is you're just looking around your house to sell stuff that you don't need anymore. And board games are one of those things that people love to try to flip online initially in addition to clothes because they take up a lot of space and they're something people will buy if it's complete, but you might find going through it, darn it, it's missing a couple cards, it's missing a couple tokens, it's missing the instructions, all these sorts of things. So you might figure, well, I can't sell this one, I might as well go and donate it to Goodwill. Okay, well, stop first before you do that and make sure you finish watching this video. Another way you might get it is that somebody might hand you one and just give it to you as part of a deal, or just give it to you as, they don't need the game anymore, they know you resell, and it might be a family member that says, hey, take this. Now, this is a good example, and I'm going to use this to highlight our discussion on this today, is this Star Wars game. Many of you probably had this and played this. It's Star Wars Escape from the Death Star. Now, this game came out in 1977, which is the year that Star Wars came out. And you might, at first, if you don't know anything about this game, you might think, wow, you have got a fortune on your hands. Well, not true. The reason is because there were a ton of these that were made, and there were a ton of people who purchased them, and there were a ton of people who hung on to them. And not only that, there were a ton of people that held on to them with the complete version intact. Now, the version that I have of this box has some issues with it. Well, what are those issues? One issue, which isn't major, is that you could see over here, is that we have what's called a split end. Now, split ends are common in boxes, and in and of itself, that would not be a deal breaker for someone. There's also some crinkling on the back of the box, so there's a little bit of damage. There's some scratching on the top that might be difficult for you to see, but relatively minor damage on the box, but some flaws, some cosmetic flaws. Now, I did an Instagram video about this, so if you're not following me on Instagram, make sure you go to @prime_time_treasure. So if you don't see me put videos up here on Instagram, on YouTube, you might want to go over to my Instagram channel and see if I have something there, because there I could do little videos, like a minute clip, and that's what I did here. I did one on this a few weeks ago, but now I get to expand it, in YouTube version. So what you can see here, this is the actual inner pieces of the game. And the big problem here, and I'm just going to press play. You're not going to hear any volume because I muted it. But
tip of the spinner is broken off.
And you can see here
this
the
is split on the bottom.
The spinning top
there's a
part of it is missing.
On the
there's
box
like a
here,
tip to it,
and there's some crinkling on the back of the box here as well. So all those things are problems that are going to lower
here. But as a result of that part missing, and let me go forward again and see if I could catch it. There you go. And there's
hey everyone, quick little tip here for you. This is the Star Wars Escape from Death Star game from 1977. If it was 100% complete and the condition was great, then this would go for around $43. Now, while the pieces here are mostly there, there's some problems with it. You can see the tip of
that doesn't make a lot of sense. You could see here in a second,
spinner is broken.
The top of it right there is missing. It broke off. And it's actually floating around in the box, but it's not the kind of thing that you could glue on. It's just pretty much destroyed. So let's go and look why a replacement piece for this doesn't make sense for me to wind up purchasing for 10 bucks. First, let's go look at the comps for this game. Now, if this game was sealed, okay, that's important, sealed, so it's still in the original plastic wrap. Now, that would be hard to find, and that one is going to get you around $140. As you can see here, that sold for $125 and $18 shipping in auction, 5 bids. So if you find one sealed, you know, that is a totally another story with regards to price. It's all supply and demand because there's not many out there that are still sealed. Most people who got that back in the day opened it up. Now, look at the drop off here in terms of pricing. Look at this. If you don't have it sealed, yet you still have it complete. Let's keep going down. So you can see here, the max you are going to get for this game with all of the parts present is about $50. So $38 plus $13.59 shipping. So that's your market cap right there. That's clearly been established. People have tried to sell it for more. People who would try to sell it for more would not get that money back that they're seeking. So they try to sell it for 70, 75, that sort of stuff. You know, like here's someone tried to sell it for $60. It's not going to sell. That's what I keep trying to explain to people who tell me about calculated shipping, is that there is a market cap and there's just so much people are willing to pay. Like you can see here, $45 plus $15 shipping, not going to pay it. They're not going to pay it. There's a max, there's a market cap, and that's what it is right there. It's about 50 bucks. Now, what you want to do next, if you're contemplating selling this as potentially incomplete, is you want to go and you want to look what your current competition is for it. Now, I typed in Star Wars Escape from Death Star Complete, and as you scroll down, you will actually see a couple people who put it as not complete. And look here, you could find it not complete for less than $20. Now you have to keep in mind, there's a reason why people have around $10 to $12 shipping on this, is that this is a long box, so you have to factor those dimensions in. You know, this isn't a short, compact, little square-like board game where the box is folded up in a square. You know, this is a long board game. So you got those dimensions there. It's going to go over £1, so that is going to go priority unless you parcel post it, but most people aren't going to parcel post a board game. So you're looking at around, either way, by the way, if you do parcel post it, you're looking at, which is ground shipping through USPS, you're still looking at about 10 bucks shipping on it, depending on where it goes across the country. You can see here's one almost complete for $29. Now, do you see the problem here? It's $29 almost complete, and it's $50 complete. So you don't have a lot of wiggle room in there. And the reason for that is because there's so many of these that are still out there. So much so that I could go out and I could buy a complete board game for $29, which is the same price as I could buy an incomplete one. So you have to think as the buyer psychologically, why on earth would a buyer purchase an incomplete board game for $29 when they could purchase a complete one for $29? And so it doesn't make sense. So that's why it doesn't make sense to invest $10 into finding a replacement piece for that game as a seller. However, there are people who like to play these games. There's people who have it, and maybe somebody broke part of the game. They lost a token got ripped. They're missing some of the cards. They bought it themselves. They want to play it. They bought it to play it at a garage sale, and they have everything, but they're missing all of the cards. This is the important part where you come in. You could sell off those game pieces, and you can make more money selling off the game pieces than you would if you tried to sell off the game as an incomplete set in some instances. And this is a good example of it. So like if we go over here, right, this is me. This is my listing right here. I sold off the game cards because all the game cards were there, 60 replacement cards. I sold the replacement game cards for $15, free shipping. It's first class, very light, it's only a few bucks to send it out first class. So, and it was very quick, easy. I didn't have to worry about like putting it in like a big box. It was like super, super fast. So that was the first sale that I made from this, and I put up a bunch of these the other day, a bunch of the game pieces. You could see here, I have up the just the board alone. I have that for $15 because I'm the only one on the market right now who has the replacement board. And one of the things you will see here is that there's a whole section in eBay dedicated to selling game pieces and parts. It's actually called that. Go under toys and hobbies, games, pieces, and parts. Now, someone did sell that game board in the past for $6 plus $7.78 shipping. That's why I'm telling you I am not too far off when I charge $14.99 with free shipping for that. So first class, very, very easy to ship, just the board. And the way you would ship that board is just like you would ship the comic books that I've shown you in other videos or art pieces, is you're going to bubble wrap it, sandwich it between two strong pieces of cardboard, put a poly bag mailer around it, a large one. You could get a 24 by 24, for example. Those things have saved me a tons of money. If you're interested in those poly bags, go down below in my description section and check out the 24 by 24 poly bag. Not poly bears, you don't want to buy poly bears, poly bag mailers. So say that 10 times fast. All right, so they really will save you a lot of money. Now, another thing that I have listed right now, and this is just based on some completed sales, you can see here, just the instructions alone for the game sold for $7.99. Now, right now, nobody has the instructions for sale, and so I have them in my store. I don't know, I might have went, oh no, sorry, it's over here. I just have to backtrack. So I have those for sale in my store right now for $9.99. As you can see here, this is my listing. So I think that's a reasonable price for that because there's no one else on the market that currently has it, I believe. Or if there is someone else who had it, the person who had it for really, like, I don't know, like $15, $16, which I didn't think was reasonable given the market cap. Here are the tokens. So I have all the tokens, missing one of the base plastic pieces. So you could see here, these are all the tokens right there. There's 8 in the game. So I currently have those for sale for $15 as well. So if those all sell for what I wanted, and $14.99 for these cards is what I actually asked for. So I got the $15 on that. So if you think about it, so that could be potentially $15. This could be $15 right here. So right there, that would be $30, which is as much as you would make. This is crazy, right? Selling those two things would be just as much as I can make selling this entire game complete. Then on top of that, you have the instructions for $9.99. And you've got, what else was there? So you have the instructions for $9.99. And there was, what else was there here that I had? Oh, yeah, and then there's the game board. And the game board would be another $15. So if you add it all up, right, $15 for the cards, $15 for the tokens, $15 for the, for the game board, and then $10 for the instructions, that's like $55 right there. Now, of course, you've got shipping and fees involved, but if all that's sold for what I'm asking for, which my prices on them are not unreasonable, you're going to make more money than you would selling this thing complete. So if you want to be competitive. So if you look at other game pieces, go and just do a search. Just type in game pieces replacement. These are types of keywords you would want to use. You could see here that there could be some big money in replacement game parts depending on what it is that you find. One of the most popular games, by the way, and you should put this down as a bolo, is the Dark Tower game from 1981. That game will sell really well in terms of parts because it's very hard to find. It's very sought after. So you could see here, like for the Dark Tower game, 1981, some original parts here selling for $135 plus $25 shipping. The Ray Wooden Chessmen pieces replacement parts, just that, no board, just the pieces, $400 plus shipping. That is absolutely crazy. Let's see here. Let's look at just a few other ones just for fun. This goes to show you about this Dark Tower game here. Replacement parts, $100. So if you ever find this Dark Tower game, if you're wondering what it looks like, here's the box right here for Dark Tower. So just the box alone for Dark Tower will sell for as much as around $100. And there it is right there. So, this is the type of game where if you see it, and it's incomplete, it tells you what the pieces are and, they're missing. Don't put it down because it's, because it's missing all the pieces. Pick it up, sell the pieces off, sell the box off, and there you go. And you're set. So that's what you want to do. Now, we're not going to toss this out. We're going to use this. There's really not a market for this box, being that it does have damage on it. But what Mrs. Primetime is going to do is she is going to artistically reuse some of the images on the front and on the back and incorporate it into some type of decoupage art project. And then we're going to sell that off too. So we're also going to, to make our money off of the box in another way, maybe with one art project or several ones together. So that's just even a further way. So when it's all said and done, it's possible we might wind up, squeezing out, because some of our art projects have sold for like $30. Like she'll make a picture frame like out of just this and we'll sell it for like $29.99, $19.99. So all said and done, it's really not unreasonable. We could pull out around $100 from this incomplete a game. So I hope that you found this useful, that it gave you some ideas, especially as we're going into garage sale season. And if you wind up picking up an incomplete game and selling off the parts, please come back to this channel and let me know what it was that you found. If this video inspired you to go do that, or if this video inspired you to go look around your house for some replacement game pieces to sell out for any incomplete sets that you might have, I'd love to know that. So thanks again for coming along and follow me on this YouTube video ride. Love getting these videos up for you, and I hope that you find the information helpful. So if so, make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you subscribe. Do not miss my video, which is going to be later on tonight, because right now it is 4:55 in the morning that I'm doing this video for you. And I got to edit it real quick and get it up before I go out to my other job. And but later that evening, so 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, will be my interview with David Niebling. If you are watching this on a delay or after Friday night, go back and watch the replay, because Dave is a new reseller on eBay. He's part of my Facebook group, the Facebook Reselling Resource Center. The link to that is down below in the description if you'd like to join. But Dave made $10,000 in 2 months selling on eBay as a new seller. So if you want to find out how he pulled that off and try to replicate it, make sure you come by and check out that video. And with that, again, make sure you follow me on Instagram at prime_time_treasure, just like it shows right over there. And I will see you all back at the next video, everyone. Take care.